So, what are the softwares required for the setup? So, we will be using the Eclipse IDE throughout the lectures, and we need JDK 17 and also Workbench, SQL Workbench for our project. And we also need Postman to test our APIs. Let's start creating a Springboard project through Spring Initializer. We will go to our Chrome and type URL as start.spring.io. In the Spring Initializer, we will choose project type as Maven, language as Java, Spring Boot version 3.2.2, and we'll give group as com.galaxy. This would give a unique ID to your project, and Spring artifact as Spring Boot tutorial, name as Spring Boot tutorial, and description, whatever description you want to give to your project, you can give. I will leave as it is. Package name would be com.galaxy.springboot tutorial. Now we will give tutorial Galaxy Spring Boot tutorial, Spring Boot tutorial, and we package it as jar file, and we'll select JDK 17. Now it's time to add dependencies. We will add dependencies. First is web, Spring Web. One more is JPA Spring, data JPA. One more is Spring data JDBC. Now here you have an option to share this to your friends or anyone who want to use the setup. Now we'll generate this. It is there in our download. We will extract it. We will extract it to our desktop. We have a Spring Boot tutorial, and we will select this. We will select this and extract there. Now I will show you how to import this particular project which we created through Spring Initializer. So in your IDE, go to File, Open Project, File, File, Import, Exist under Maven, existing Maven project, browse. You go to Desktop, Spring Boot tutorial, Galaxy Spring Boot tutorial, and select folder. So it found a POM, so it is a Spring Boot application, then finish. So you have Galaxy Spring Boot tutorial. So now we understood how to create a project. If you remember, we selected it as Maven. What is Maven? It's a software project that follows Maven project structure, and it utilizes the Maven build tool for managing dependencies, building the project, and handling other project related tasks. Maven is widely used for building automation and project management, and also simplifies the build process and project management during Java development. So it has something called as POM.xml. The POM refers to the project object model file. This defines all the configurations, dependencies, and plugins which are present. I said Maven is a build tool. Build tool, why it is required? Build tool is essential for the process of building. Building in the sense we should generate the source code, generate documentation for the source code, then compiling of the source code, then packaging this compiled code into the jar file. Later, installing these packages on the local repositories, servers, and central repositories. Maven is also written through Java or C Sharp. It is based on project object model. When we are executing the application, this Maven searches for the pom.xml in the current directory. Then, coming to the need of Maven, it helps downloading all the dependencies which refers to the libraries or jar files. Before Maven, people used to download all the jar files searching for a particular version, and it was a tedious job. Now Maven is there for us. And then what is the other need is right project structure. The project structure here you can see under the Galaxy Spring Boot tutorial you have source main Java which has com.galaxy.galaxy Spring Boot tutorial. Under this you have Galaxy Spring Boot tutorial application. So you have main application under this folder structure. Then you have source main resources. Under this you have static which will include your front end code. It can be through React. Templates will hold all the templates and application properties which are the properties of your application can be defined. And you also have a test folder where you can write all the JUnits, all the test cases here. This is the Maven folder structure, and you have all the JRE system libraries and whatever dependencies required will be stored under Maven dependency. And last you have something called as pom.xml. Pom.xml will have this part of pom.xml contains all the metadata which is your artifact ID, group ID, what is the version, what is the name of your project, what was the purpose of having this project, all the things. And then you have the dependency list. Whatever dependencies we selected or whatever dependency we want in future, we will be adding inside our dependencies. So all the dependencies which are mentioned in the pom.xml, these jars related to these will be downloaded automatically. If you have other application which has to be linked to this particular project, then you can add the dependency here, and that is also known as transitive dependency. Now we took Lambok as a dependency. We can add Lambok as a dependency that is a Java library that helps us to reduce boilerplate code, and it also achieves this by providing annotations that can be processed during compilation. It automatically generates codes like getters, setters, equals, and many more. It has annotations like at the rate getter, at the rate setter, at the rate toString, at the rate no args constructor, at the rate all arg constructors, at the rate required args constructor. And also we have at the rate data and at the rate builder. And we can also download the dependency and add it in the pom.xml, which is MySQL connector Java. It is a driver for connecting Java application to MySQL database. These are the packages which dependencies which can be added. So if you go to the Spring Initializer and if you type MySQL driver, JDBC driver and explore, you will get the code here. Here you can have this dependency. You can copy this and paste in our dependency. So now we know how to add dependency, how to download a Spring application from the Spring Starter. Now we will see how to create a Spring Boot application through Eclipse IDE. So we are in the IDE. Now what we will be doing is go to File, New, Project, Spring Starter Project. Next you have this. It is getting the project from start.spring.io. I will give the project name as Galaxy Application. We will keep it as Maven and 17. This, let it be group ID as com.galaxy, and we have artifact, which is the name of our project. Snapshot, what is a snapshot and what is the purpose, what is the description, and you have a package name. You have packaging as jar, language as Java. So now we will click on to next. We can add dependencies required. So I will add Lombok, which then MySQL driver, Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, and Spring DevTools. So these are the dependencies that I will be adding to my application. Then click on Finish. So you have Galaxy application present. Since we added the JDBC, we need to connect to the database. So here I am in the MySQL workbench and I have database called as Spring Boot, Galaxy Spring Boot training, and it has no tables, it has just started. Now I will be configuring it inside the application.properties file. First property you can give as server.port equal to 1990. Next, to have the database connectivity, we will have these configurations. So here we can add the database name, which is Galaxy Spring Boot Training. Galaxy Spring Boot Training. Okay. You can provide username, password, and then Spring Boot data source URL. So you can provide the database name and other features which I will be explaining later. And then you have the driver class name, which is JDBC driver, and this is the port number. Now we will run our application. To run our application, first we'll do Maven update project, select the project, force update the snapshots and releases, and click on OK. So this will give all the jar files which are required for the dependencies present in pom.xml and put it into a Maven dependency folder. Then what we'll do, we'll do a build path. We'll select Maven dependency and JRE, apply and close. And then we need to run as build the project, which is we can clean it and install. Since we don't have any test case, we are skipping the test cases and apply and run. So build success. Now you will run this application as Spring Boot application. Okay, there might be some problem with the database. So we'll go to the application.properties folder. So in the application.properties file, we kept 1990. And the error was saying that the port is already used. So what we'll do, we will keep it in 1991 and we will Maven build it once again. Maven update it and then run as Spring Boot app. Okay, this says started the Galaxy application in 0.527 seconds. So it also started the server on 1990. So this started our application, and now here we can see that we are running the application. Just in few seconds you can do all this using Spring Boot. Such a easy thing, right? So this is all on the basic starting with the Spring Boot application. In the coming videos, we will build a RESTful service, that is, we'll build APIs to get something from the database, modify to the database, add to database, and also delete from the database. So all these things we'll build in the further lectures. Thank you for patiently listening to the lecture.